Vigoroth was dominating the GO Battle League for a long time, then got nerfed, and now we have 2 buffs on this Pokemon this season. And we have an interesting team here because it's a team that I've been using for quite a while, back in the day at least. So let's see if it's gonna still work in the current meta, with Vigoroth still being a little bit weaker this season because of counter still being worse than it was ever before. But we have the buff on Body Slam, bringing it back to, I think, 60 damage. I think it's 55 damage only. It was 6 damage before, then dropped down to 50, and now I think it's at 55 again, so it's still weaker than it was back in the day. But we're going to have also Rock Stat, which got buffed again, which I think was also early on in the GO Battle League, even stronger than it is right now. So, well, yes, this Pokemon received 2 buffs. It might just bring it back a little bit closer to its former glory. I doubt it's gonna bring it back directly to it. And the one big reason to it is the fast move. The fast move is the main thing that is the issue with the Vigoroth. While having counter is, back in the day at least, an amazing thing to have, still nowadays it's cool with the counter damage, and now also you don't have the boost onto the counter damage thanks to the shadow on this Pokemon as well. But the issue is you don't generate energy fast enough. You don't generate energy fast enough in order to get to your moves in rapid speed, basically. Back in the day, the main benefit of a Vigoroth was you had Stab Body Slam, you had Counter, which was one of the hardest thing fast moves, and you were able to get to the Body Slam after just 5 counters. This time is gone. It's 6 counters now. And you might think, that's one more counter, who really cares? If you take a look at the meta right now, and take a look at the Pokemon that have a pacing where you need 10 turns for, there are quite a lot of them. So needing those 2 extra turns is super significant. Like, everything is going to outspeed you basically in the current meta. Like, there's so many Pokemon that need only 10 turns, like a Feraligatr, for example. Here, the Gyarados is even faster. They only use 9 turns for their first move. Chestnut is a bit slower, I think. Superpower is also after 5, never mind. Like, most of the Pokemon currently in the meta need 10 turns or less in order to get to their moves, and that is quite important for a lot of them. So, yeah, here we're going to see our team again. We have Talonflame in the lead, Shadow Talonflame. I don't have the best IVs, but still kind of cool. And we're going to have in the back now the Chestnut. The Chestnut is kind of a nice core breaker, breaking apart those ground type Pokemon, but also those Credillies, those normal types. That's why it's here basically, and it is a team that I've been using back in the day, like season, I don't know, I think 7 or something like this. Now we are already quite a few seasons back in there. It's definitely a bit different now. So not only the Pokemon itself that you encounter a little bit different, but also the power level kind of creeped up a little bit. The power level is just getting a bit stronger, which is the thing that you see not only in Pokemon Go, but also, of course, in the main series games. It is quite natural. You cannot stay at the same power level, because otherwise new Pokemon and new moves are not exciting anymore. It's just the old thing, so you need to be better than what has been basically meta before. And I guess that is kind of here the thing. This is kind of here why this team maybe isn't as ideal, but I mean, so far it kind of worked out, right? Like, it's not the worst. The thing is here, there was a team variation that I did with this team as well, which I kind of, in hindsight, would have rather liked to play even, with the Ferrothorn in the back, which would have access to Thunder. But here's one thing, and here's one issue for the team that I at least noticed while playing, which doesn't mean that this team directly is the worst team ever. Here, by the way, look at the rock side damage, very, very nice, and also we're going to have them now into range, where we could have just went for a Fly. Spoiler alert, a Fly would have most likely knocked them out as well, without any of the damage that the Vigoroth just did. But yeah, Talonflame is really cool. I want to make a video towards Shadow Talonflame in a different team as well, where you're going to have Talonflame then on the thumbnail most likely as well. But I have like more ideas on how to play Talonflame, and Talonflame is mainly on this team here because of nostalgia, not because this team is built around it. Yeah, I want to try out Vigoroth, because this Pokemon is Shadow, this Pokemon got 2 buffs this season, but this Pokemon also really wants to have a new fast move. But this is the thing as well, there is no great fast move that's normal type currently. Like, there's a lock on in order to generate energy a ton, which I highly doubt Vigoroth is going to be able to learn. Don't think this Pokemon can lock on. But you have otherwise Quick Attack as the next best fast move for normal typing. And I don't think this really cuts it. And I think that Scratch, which I think this Pokemon learns, could be in a position where we could argue of giving it a buff. If we put Scratch Basically, Scratch, by the way, is, I think, a 1-turn fast move. Yeah, it's a 1-turn fast move that does 4 damage and generates 3 energy. If we put Scratch at a level where it at least generates 3 energy and has the 4 damage, I think it would be kind of cool. I think this could work out then. But yeah, this would be the only way of really increasing it. But then I think it's just a counter clone. So, I don't know. Is Scratch even possible to fix? We could make it a clone of the Psywave by dropping the damage by 1, I think, and giving it plus like 2 energy then afterwards. Like, not a lot of Pokemon learn Scratch, and the Pokemon that learn Scratch I don't think would be overpowered with it. So maybe Scratch is something that we could buff in the future, but right now it's just a bit tough for Vigoroth to get to its moves. And that's so sad, because it's like such a cool Pokemon from back in the day. Other fast moves that this Pokemon could learn that would really help it out would be, for example, Mud Slap. Mud Slap is going to be very good on this Pokemon. It would learn Mud Shot as well, which would give it also a bit of an edge, because you're going to get still to the Body Slam quite a bit faster. Shadow Claw would be an alternative option for Vigoroth as well, to make this Pokemon actually very solid again. There are quite actually a lot of different kind of moves that this Pokemon could learn that help it out. Even Poison Jab, I think, could help it out. So yeah, I feel like this would be still a Pokemon that has potential in future seasons. I will hope actually that Vigoroth comes back to a point where it's usable, but to the point where it's not broken. The main issue and the main reason why Vigoroth got nerfed in one season with all 3 of its moves is that Vigoroth was destroying every single limited meta. And this is of course not really the case here right now anymore, as Vigoroth isn't really in that position, and most Pokemon are not really that broken in certain metas anymore. But Vigoroth was basically available in nearly every single limited meta and was the best Pokemon in nearly every single limited meta as well, which just made it so difficult to play against it and just so annoying to see this Pokemon. But now where it's gone for a while, I kind of miss it a little bit. But yeah, generally, here we're going to be able to lock down the opponent's Stunfisk. This is not going to be the direct best matchup yet, but Spidops is going to go up against my Talonflame. I just had to cover up the potential that they go for the Rock Tomb. That's why I shield this move up, because I know I'm going to be able to get the shield back against the Stunfisk anyway, and with that I should be able to win this battle. And so far so good with this team. It looks quite alright, right? So this touch is coming through here, and we're still going to have the Chestnut being able to go for the superpower, and we're going to be able to win this battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. So let's lock in. We're going to have a Gastron in the lead. Not the ideal lead, but also not the worst lead. We're going to have Still Fly, which is going to do some sort of damage. The false move was resisted, but they're of course going to be able to pressure us quite a bit with their charge moves. The thing is here as well, if they go for Body Slam, they're going to be able to reach the next Body Slam quite fast as well. And this is the thing as well. I do believe that Shadow version of Talonflame is not great as a lead. I would say that the normal version of Talonflame is the better lead, with Brave Bird as well as Fly. My own opinion towards it. If you think differently, you think differently. I don't think anybody really gives too much towards opinion on the way Talonflame is the best, to be fair, but if you want to, I don't know, if you want to argue. Anyway, I do think it's best at the closer position, because what you have there is the option to farm down Pokemon and to also sweep endgame with a lot of Incinerate damage. And I think it's just better. I think this is just better to do. And so, while this is a team that I played back in the day, and that's why I want to try it out, I kind of just want to highlight some of the changes that throughout the meta, throughout the seasons, kind of happened. And I think that Talonflame as a Shadow, which hasn't been released ever since I played this team for the last time, yeah, is now just better as a closer. It's just a better Pokemon there. And I showed mostly went ahead and went for a different one here. If I went for a charge move, maybe I would have had actually a chance of still winning. I'm not sure, but we can move on to the next opponent, where we will face a great lead. And for a great lead, we're going to have also here a great save swap. We have the Barbarrel, and at the end of the day, I could have even went into my Vigoroth here, trying to counter them down. But while this is going to hurt quite a bit, we are going to be able to win this matchup guaranteed. There's nothing the opponent can do in order to align themselves, and we are in a very solid position, because also I am capable of counting. I know, it's crazy, it's something that people wouldn't be able to do usually. No, just joking, of course. Counting is very important in the GO Battle League, and here we were able to count that the opponent would not get to another move, which means I get to another move, I get to another move here, I can go for the nice Frenzy Plant, and the opponent's Golurk goes down, and they reveal that they have Titania in the back. I'm not capable of reading typings, and I just went for the wrong move. Doesn't make sense to go for Superpower generally, to be fair, but I don't know. I don't know why I did this, to be fair. I have no idea. I should have just went for my Frenzy Plant, and I would have won this battle straight away. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. it just doesn't matter. Like, we got the opponent into a range where Incinerate is going to be enough, where Counter is going to be enough, where they have no chance of winning this one. Like, look at this. They have 1 HP left. So, yeah, good game to the opponent. We win this, and we can move on to the next opponent. So, what do you think so far? Are you surprised on how many wins actually Vigoroth was still able to do, or did you expect it? I don't know. But so far, it's honestly not that bad. But generally speaking, I still don't think that this team is the greatest. I don't think that Vigoroth is very strong. And if you want to run this team here, basically, what I would do first is throw out Vigoroth for Dunsparce. I think Dunsparce is the better Pokemon. Dunsparce helps you out with the weakness of this team against other Talonflames and Charizards. Which, by the way, I had no idea that Charizard is coming in this battle. Battles are randomized. I don't choose the order, and I don't have the note that I should say at minute 10 something that's talking about Shadow Charizard because the Pokemon comes in. That's hilarious though. But yeah, this team has a weakness to Charizard and Talonflame. If you use the Say-Stop of Dunsparce instead, you're going to have now a rollout user which is going to be able to just help you with that. The next change is I would not run Chestnut. I personally would not run Chestnut. Chestnut is cool, but it doesn't have the bulk it needs. And with that, what I would rather want to run is the Pokemon of Credilli, which we face here as well, which was not intentional whatsoever, but it just works out right now currently on a streak there. Anyway, but Credilli is going to be the Pokemon that is going to allow you to also counter the weakness there for Talonflame with both, of course, the water weakness, which you're going to be able to also do super effective damage against them, but also going to be better off against a lot of the kind of more weaknesses for Talonflame. But then again, I would rather recommend you to go for Talonflame at back, and I want to try to make a team towards it that is not Stunfisk and Corviknight as the other Pokemon, so stay tuned for that. So, final battle. What's my opinion? Vigoroth needs a different fast move. If Vigoroth would get Shadow Claw, it would most likely be too broken. I assume it's going to be too broken. I actually just going to check it on the side real quick, because Vigoroth counter is just not doing it. And I don't know if otherwise this Pokemon ever going to have some play. I feel like though that with a few tweaks for other Pokemon, for example the Annihilate dropping maybe the Rage Fist damage to 20, you would have more options to boost counter again in terms of on how fast you're gonna get to the moves. But right now it's just not really working out. And by the way, I just checked now, Vigoroth or Shadow Claw would be well balanced, would be very strong, but it would not be broken by any means. It wouldn't be broken. It doesn't do enough fast move damage to put Pokemon into the Body Slam range, and so it would be just a good Say-Stop, but nothing more, nothing less. That's basically what this Pokemon would be then, and I think that would be kind of ideal for it. So yeah, this is kind of it. Yeah, I think Chestnut is funny as a core breaker, but it a lot of times just kind of gets hindered by its own speed that is just not existing. And so basically, Talonflame is not the best lead. Vigoroth needs a better fast move, and Chestnut is just squishy. What you have here is a team that still functions in a lot of the matchups, which you see as well today already, but generally is going to have weaknesses that I personally wouldn't want to run. I give it 2 stars out of 5, and it's going to be it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.